What is a business model? What are the different elements of a business model? Why is it so important? And how can you create one so that you can win short-term and long-term? My name is Arman, and these are the questions that we're going to be answering in today's video on Simple Money. All right, so the term business model was not used up until the mid to late 1990s. Up until that point, everybody was still using the term business plan to describe this phenomenon. Now, the reason why there was a switch that happened is because of the IPO of a then famous Netscape. Now, if you don't remember Netscape, you're probably not old enough. But Netscape at that time hadn't proven to be a profitable entity yet. And when they had their IPO, they instantly became a billion-dollar company in an era when billion-dollar companies weren't being launched like that in the digital tech space. So when that happened, the question started to come up around their revenues, around their costs, and around their profit margins. Now, a lot of people would argue that those are all different elements of the regular business plan. But what made it unique in this situation is that Netscape was a digital tech company in an era when digital tech companies are not as famous as they are right now. So, what is an actual business model canvas, and how can you create one for your unique venture? All right, so as you can see, there are 9 boxes that are associated with a business model canvas. And whether you're a solopreneur, or you're leading a small team, or you're the executive of a large company, all of these apply to you. All right, so the first box is your value proposition. As you're coming up with your value proposition, you need to be answering one major question. What are you building and for who? And it's not at this point about you or your product or your service. It's more about the customer and the problem that you're solving for them or the need that you're filling in for them. Some examples of a problem would be accounting, word processing, or anything that's technical. And some examples of needs would be communication with friends or actually entertaining themselves or feeding them or anything that would actually fall into a basic human need. The second box is your customer segments. All right, so the second box addresses the customer need. And if you want to figure out where your customer needs are, you need to first figure out who your customer is and why they would want to buy from you. And in this situation, you got to understand that their needs outweigh your needs. Their needs are more important than your needs. All right, so you're going to first start out with a general hypothesis of who they are, and then you're going to gradually hone in on the specifics of your perfect customer segment. The third box are your channels or your distribution. All right, when we're thinking about channels, we're thinking about distribution, right? How do you actually get your product or your service to the customer? Now, pre-internet, it was actually done through retail, like the physical store location, or maybe like an infomercial that happened on the TV or on the radio. Post-internet, most of it is done either on the computer or some kind of a mobile device and through services something like Amazon Prime, where they deliver the product on demand to the customer. The fourth box are customer relationships. When you're thinking about your customer relationships, there are 3 main questions that you want to think about. How do you get them? How do you keep them? And how do you grow them? Getting them would be like getting them to your store or getting them to your website. Keeping them would be, how do I actually get them activated? How do I get them to take action, maybe buy from me? And growing them would be, how do I get referrals from them? How do I get them to spend more money? How do I get them to buy more products and services from me? Now, all of these will end up adding up to your revenue streams. In this box, we're going to be answering the question, how does the company get to the money? Now, this is a combination of your value delivery and your pricing. Value delivery could be anything like, are you going to do a freemium? Are you going to do direct sales? Pricing tactics could be, are you going to do licensing? Are you going to do subscription-based? But it's a combination of the two that overall adds up to your revenue streams. All right, so real quick before we get to the next section, if you're actually enjoying this video, if you're getting any kind of value from it, I want you to definitely subscribe, smash that like button, and definitely hit that little notification bell too so that you get notified the next time that we drop a video. All right, let's get into it. All right, so box number 6 are going to be your key resources. What resources will you need to make the business work? Are you going to need financial resources, which could be anything like funding or lending? Are you going to need physical resources, which could be anything like a car or a warehouse? Are you going to need intellectual resources, which could be patents or customer lists? Or are you going to need human resources, which could be lab technicians, engineers, or anybody else that would make the business work? The last question to think about in this category is, what do you have to do to get them, and what do you have to do to keep them? Box number 7 are going to be your key partnerships. Who are going to be your key partners and or suppliers? What services are they going to offer? What activities are they going to perform? And are they going to be joint ventures? Are they going to be strategic partnerships? And when you think about it, are they going to be a year 1 partnership or a year 10 partnership? The partnerships that you would need in year 1 would be drastically different than those that you would need in year 10. Box number 8 are the key activities. What are the most important things that you need to do to make the business work? If you're in production, are you going to be making things? If you're in consulting or engineering, are you going to be solving problems? Or maybe you would be in supply chain management. What are the key activities that you need to become an expert at? And all of these boxes are going to add up to your costs. What are going to be the costs and expenses to operate? Will you have costs for your people? Will you have costs for the buildings or the supplies that you're going to need? What are the most important costs? What are the most expensive costs? Are they going to be activity costs or time costs? A lot of people don't factor in time. And of course, what is going to be the cost to scale up the business? These are all things that you need to factor in when you calculate your costs. All right, so as we mentioned earlier, whether you're a solopreneur or you're executive of a large corporation, you want to answer all of these questions. Now, to the extent that you actually answer these questions will determine how successful you are in your business. And if this is your first time building a business, I don't want you to get too caught up in all the specifics and all that stuff yet. First, start with a hypothesis, then work on it, hone it in, and actually get into the specifics as you gain more experience. All right, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, if you want to clarify certain things, maybe if you're having a challenge on a specific box, let us know in the comments section and we'll address it for you. But hopefully you actually got some value from it, and we will see you in the next video. All right, thanks for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, make sure you subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell right there, and then you'll get notified the next time that we drop a video. Actually, why wait? You can watch this one, or even that one. So many choices. Did you do it? Did they do it?
No, not yet.